but I do think it's wildly, largely, almost always skill based, and that you can create that within someone that's got the more so the mentality to go about the difficulties to become, an operator or a Green Beret. And in terms of like mantras and whatnot, or you asked about family members and their questioning what it was I was trying to do and having second thoughts, trying to be supportive because they love me and care for me and want to be in my corner, but also want us to be grounded in reality and pragmatism. Um, the way I went about doing that was I was just able to recognize pretty early on why these people that care for me or people that don't know me well were second guessing what I was doing. And for one, I knew that what I was trying to do had never been done before. So, like with anything where there's no precedence, people are like, "Is that even possible?" That's a
Hmm.
fair question. But more significantly than that, I knew that that was coming from a place of love, and they were somewhat blinded, or at least they had blinders on, where all they could focus on was my well-being as a son, as a brother, as a teammate. Like that's where this second guessing would be coming from. They didn't want to see me get hurt, not only in the terms of me going back to being in combat hurt, but also failing, and then what that effect would have on me. Would that send me down this really nasty, dark, depressive road because I set my sights on something so unrealistic and I was so obsessed with it that if I failed, what would that do to my overall wellness? So I was able to grasp onto their reasoning pretty early on. Therefore, one, I didn't hold any resentment towards them, but I knew that I was going to be the only one on the planet that had the level of clarity in my vision that I did. It was mine. And I could explain it and communicate it to as many people as possible, as thoroughly as possible, but it's mine to own. This is yours. And one of the costs of ambition is being misunderstood. And that's just part of that process. You have to have a willingness to accept criticism and feedback from those that you respect, but also own the fact that this is your life and your mission. And the only limitations really are the ones that we place on ourselves. So I was able to maintain relationships with those that I cared about and take in their advice, but also concurrently know that, hey, this is what I'm doing. I am completely committed to this thing, regardless. Thank you, I love you, but
Hmm.
I got things I got to do. I'm gonna keep going.
Because it is a difficult thing to mean. You know they mean well, but you have to sort of say yes. But I'm looking at this without the emotion. They're there to protect you, and sometimes it can override, like you're saying, their understanding of what you want in life. And if you have a strong enough mission, you can override this. I mean, I always find, I can't remember who said it, was you fall back to the highest point of your training, not to the level that the situation demands. So, if you're not trained super well for enough for it, you're in a shit storm basically. What are you taught in the military? Because you're an expert in sort of irregular activities, about like analysis, planning things, etc. How how are you taught this? And do you think that helps you see things from a sort of non-emotional point of view